At the end of last season, it was not looking good for the most popular driver on the grid in Daniel Ricciardo. He was sacked from McLaren a year early from his contract, and he just did not look like the Daniel that we all knew and loved when he was at Red Bull for so many years. But the one person who had never lost belief in Ricciardo came to help him when he needed it the most, and that was his old boss, Christian Horner. He gave Daniel a lifeline, and that was him being the third driver at the best team on the grid, Red Bull, which would allow him to be in and around the sport for the time being. Daniel hoped that a chance would come up for the 2024 season so he could get back into the sport after a year away and step back and realise how much he loved the sport. But as we know, that opportunity came to him a lot earlier than he expected. After driving the RB19 for a couple of laps, Horner would call up Helmut Marko, and then Vries was sacked, and it was decided that the Aussie would be back in Formula 1, where it all started all those years ago. In today's video, we will be discussing Ricciardo's return and what the expectations are for him in Alpha Tauri, how he could possibly move to Red Bull very soon if he performs well, and to end off this video, we'll be talking about how Alpha Tauri will be changing names very soon. Let's get right into it, shall we? Ricciardo returns to the team where it all started, and it's not exactly the best team to be in at this moment in time. Alpha Tauri are rock bottom of the Constructors' Championship, and they have the slowest car on the grid, as they struggle to even get close to the points. The team has struggled with the new regulations, and they cannot get back onto their feet, but they look to Ricciardo for some experience for the team. Ricciardo is a multiple-time race winner, and he is there to do a job as Nick de Vries was just not performing how everyone expected really. Ricciardo at the end of his run at McLaren was just not performing, and he hoped in the 8 months or so he's been out of the car, he would be able to find that form back and perform for the Red Bull sister team. For many fans, it does look like Ricciardo was put into Alpha Tauri to see who will get the Red Bull second seat once Checo leaves the team, or has his contract ended early. Ricciardo is there to see if Yuki is good enough and if he's able to beat the Aussie. He will show that he deserves to be at Red Bull. On the other hand, if Ricciardo goes into that team halfway through the season and beats him, he may be regarded as the favourite for the second Red Bull. Moving on to the expectations that will be placed on Ricciardo for the rest of the season, the one thing that has to be taken into account that he is in the worst car. So it will be hard for him to score points, but the one thing that he has to do is beat Yuki for the rest of the season. If he can go into a team that does not know and a car he does not know and beat the guy who's been there from the start of the season, it will be a real statement. You get this feeling that Red Bull actually wants him to beat Yuki. This is because Horner saw the times that Daniel was doing in the RB19, and it was not far off Max. So we think that the expectations on Ricciardo is that he will beat Yuki and show he will be a solid driver, and if he does that, he will get that second Red Bull seat. Now, this is all speculation, and he may not even get it, but it will be interesting to see. The pressure is on Checo to perform, and if he doesn't, and Daniel does, he could be back at Red Bull alongside his good friend Max, come the start of the 2024 season in Bahrain. Ricciardo was a very good driver before he joined McLaren. He just needs to find that good form that he had at Red Bull, but also that very underrated 2020 season where he was seen as one of the best alongside Hamilton and Verstappen. Overall, the expectations placed on Daniel will be high, but it is something that he can achieve if he can find the form that he has in him. Do you think that Ricciardo will be able to jump into the Alpha Tauri and beat Yuki? Or do you think that Yuki will be able to beat the experienced Daniel? Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Our next topic of this video about the return of Daniel Ricciardo is about the question that is on everyone's mind and how he could return to the best team on the grid and get podiums and wins once again. There are so many factors that go into Ricciardo getting back into that Red Bull, and they all have to fall into place if it will become a reality. The one that is totally out of Ricciardo's hands is the performance of Sergio Perez and how the rest of the season goes if he's able to pick up his form. If he continues to be poor in qualifying, the door will be pretty much more open to Ricciardo, but it is down to what Red Bull does. It is likely that Perez will not have his contract extended beyond its expiry date at the end of 2024. So do Red Bull decide to follow the contract or cut it a year short, which is out of Daniel's hands. He has to show for the rest of the season that he is capable of being that driver that Christian Horner fell in love with all those years ago, so it gives him a chance in the best car. Everyone wants to be in Red Bull right now due to how quick they are, and Daniel has a chance to put himself in pole position if he is able to beat Yuki Tsunoda and have a clean season. We'll have to wait and see how Ricciardo can perform after the summer break into the second half of the season when he is used to Alpha Tauri. The destiny of the most popular driver in Formula 1, many people say, is in Ricciardo's hands, and he is the only one who can prove to the world that he is a good driver. Do you think for 2024 Ricciardo will be at Red Bull, given he performs well for the rest of this season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Ending off this video about Daniel Ricciardo, we were talking about the team that he drives for, and that is Alpha Tauri. The team who have become the sister team to Red Bull, who are used to building up drivers before they put into the top 10 to win championship, have been under many names, but the one that everyone remembers is Toro Rosso. That was the name of the team that built up some of the best drivers to ever be in Formula 1, in the four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, and the man who is dominating Formula 1, and that of course is Max Verstappen. In 2020, the team was changed to Alpha Tauri, which is a clothing brand linked to Red Bull, but it was announced as of late that the name of the team will be changed, and we do not know what it will be called, but many are wanting them to go back to the old Toro Rosso. This could be everyone just feeling a little bit of nostalgia, but it is all down to Red Bull what they changed the team to. They could easily make a Red Bull B team if they want the car looking the same, but under a different name. The possibilities are endless, and we are not sure what will happen. The team will still be under the Red Bull umbrella, and they may even sell the team due to them rarely promoting drivers to Red Bull. What do you think will happen to Alpha Tauri in the coming years? Would you like to see it go back to the Toro Rosso name? We'll just have to wait and see what goes down, because we all know Red Bull is pretty much unpredictable nowadays. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one.